All right, so with this picturesque background, this green Lambo and this yacht with a basketball court, I'm gonna calm your fears as I read to you some of the government shutdown facts that the media just won't cover. Number one, the average length of a shutdown is only 8 days. Number two, the S&P 500 has ended higher 1 year after a shutdown in 86% of the time. Number three, the S&P 500 posts an average gain of 13% plus 1 year after the shutdown ends. That's massive for the stock market, okay? And number four, during the 35-day shutdown in 2018, the S&P rallied over 11%. Number five, while the government is shut down, the US defers $400 million daily in costs. And number six, the Fed generally turns more dovish if government data releases are paused. So historically, the market welcomes shutdowns. So that's it. There's nothing to be fearful about, in my opinion. In fact, this fear is an excellent buying opportunity, like I've repeated several times just in this video. If you want to make it to this level, you got to start doing something differently and embracing those pullbacks, those gut-wrenching 30% pullbacks on some of those alts that you've been eyeing, and be able to stomach that and be patient, because the money is being transferred from the impatient to the patient hands, and that's just it. What's up, guys? I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, coming to you from sunny southern Marbella. Today, I am in Puerto Banús, one of the most luxurious ports in Europe, known for docking big yachts like Jeff Bezos and Lady Aya, which is from the Saudi Arabian royal family, and also Ricardo Salinas, who is a billionaire, is massively bullish on Bitcoin. So coming to you from a different spot today, but I think you'll really like it. And Bitcoin is surging past 118,000, and we just had the big close for September in the green, which we were looking out for. We closed just above 114,000, very strong September close, which means statistically we should have a very, very green Q4. How green, you might ask? Well, out of the 6 iterations in Bitcoin's history, per the stats we have from Eric Crown, one of my favorite analysts in the space, it's gone up on average 50% by the end of Q4, which would put Bitcoin at a whopping 170,000. The Bitcoin is raging amid a government shutdown, which has not happened since 2018. So I'm going to give you some stats on what has happened historically during government shutdowns for the stock market and also Bitcoin in this episode, just to calm your fears. But what calls my attention the most is that Bitcoin is raging. People are still sort of on the fence. The fear and greed index is still neutral. Yesterday was neutral, the day before that was fear, and last week was fear. So we are in this massively bullish environment fundamentally, while there is still a lot of fear in the market. And you know what Tom Lee said, in order for us to rage up and to the right, we need a healthy amount of skepticism. And let me tell you, that's still out there. There are a lot of people playing these ranges right now. 260 billion was wiped out of the market, the crypto markets last week, and 250 million has been added this week. So people are feeling that bullish energy today, yesterday. It's all good, but I do want to prepare you on this channel for potentially one more drop, as the stats say that historically in the previous government shutdowns, Bitcoin has rallied up and then dropped sharply right after. Now I'm going to go back to some of the stats from Eric Crown, because these are all relevant to how we should be playing this, to how I'm playing this. Now, stats aren't indicative of what will happen, but they're probabilities, they're statistics, right? So we need to be prepared for all scenarios. Those statistics say that the low of October typically comes within the first week, very seldomly in the second week, but very early on in October. So there's confluence there that says if we get that sharp drop within the next couple of days or the next week, which has happened previously after government shutdowns, where could we be seeing that drop to? Now, a drop like this would massively freak out a lot of people in this market, but not you in this channel, because we're going to be prepared, and I believe it would be an excellent opportunity if it did happen. So another stat from Eric Crown is that Bitcoin loves to reconnect with the weekly 5 EMA, and it has not done so yet. So if we were to rally first and then come back down to that later, It might not be as good as doing it now, which would be a little bit healthier for the market. We'd set that low in the first week of October and then potentially rocket up from there, right? To that 170,000 mark, maybe, if history repeats. It doesn't repeat all the time, guys, but it often rhymes, right? So if we were to get that sharp correction now, as we've seen in previous cycles, that 5-weekly EMA is currently in the low 100,000s. So we could drop all the way down to around $100,000 for Bitcoin. It would scare everybody, scare the hell out of everybody. A lot of people would fold, a lot of people would sell, panic sell, and I believe that would be an excellent opportunity. And that could be happening as quickly as this week. Now, there is a chance that we don't get it and we continue to go onward and upward from here, as Bitcoin has had a very strong pump these last couple of days. So let's see what happens. But the other stat shows that the highest price for October generally comes at the very end of October. I'm talking October 29th, October 30th. So it's going to be a very interesting month. The question is, will you be able to stomach the volatility and be patient in order to come out on top? That's right, I'm talking about, my price targets have not changed. All you Theta gang, you Theta fam, you know, maybe we see a $5 to $7 Theta soon, potentially $19.99 to party with Digital Dave in Thailand, like it's $19.99. But my original bull market target for Theta this year, this cycle, was $25. I raised it to $50 because I believe that we may be seeing a little bit different of a cycle, which takes me to my next stat. But before I get there, Cardano, $5 to $6. XRP, potentially $10. I mean, this is all on the table. That being said, when we start to get in this massively bullish environment, the rest assured, I truly believe we will, and I have plenty of patience to get there. We've made it this far. Don't forget to pay yourself. Don't get greedy. Don't watch it go all the way up and then come all the way back down. Let's be ready for all scenarios. So have a checklist. What will you do right now if Bitcoin goes all the way back down to 100K and alts take a hit, that 30% gut-wrenching pullback? What will you do? What is your plan? Likewise, what is your plan if Bitcoin just starts rallying to the moon from here? That being said, the next stat is from Plan B and a lot of other analysts that are talking about the global liquidity. Check that out. Isn't that nice? The global M2 liquidity, which is not set to peak until 2026, which makes me believe that this cycle, another reason to believe that this cycle could be a sort of a super cycle, right? In which we don't see the top in the next couple of months when we traditionally would. Rather, we would see that top potentially in 2026. And if Bitcoin were to rally from here and not reconnect with the red 5-weekly EMA and not have that sharp correction that it's had previously after government shutdown, then remember the other thing I always say on this channel, 80% of the gains come in the last 20% of the cycle. So if we start to see massive moves, those green candles will be like nothing you've ever seen, and you won't be able to chase them. You will get wrecked if you try. So the important part is to be positioned. Stick to your strategy. Now is the time to make it big in this market, to reap what we've sowed all of these years, right? And just have that patience for so long. Potentially now, we've just had the very first rate cut, which is wild that we're still in neutral and fear territory, right? That is an asymmetrical bet, in my opinion. We'll be getting more rate cuts. The atmosphere is going to be risk on, and that brings me to gold. Gold is flying. The RSI for gold on the monthly is the highest it's been in 45 years at 90. That is crazy, and that has typically preceded a massive rally for Bitcoin, as well as the dollar tanking, which is doing right now, a weaker dollar, which has also preceded a massive rally for Bitcoin and crypto. And so all of these factors lining up, all these confluence to me is just so clear what is the writings on the wall. Like I always say, that even if we have to have a little bit more patience in this month of October, I am anticipating a very green Q4, and that's what I'm preparing for, and that's how I'm playing this. I just want to show you, on that note, the good vibes here in the harbor this morning. There's this boat here with a basketball court, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to take you over to the next boat, which is Lady Aya. That's the one that's owned by the royal family in Saudi. I don't know, just a little bit of motivation for you guys who are working really hard day and night to have that financial freedom, to make it to wherever you want to be. You know, success for me is more freedom than anything else. But I think these are really good vibes and motivating vibes, right? So here is Lady Aya, the yacht that's been here for many, many years, coming and going to Marbella. And look at these neighboring yachts, guys. How cool is that? And this one just docked yesterday. 50, it's called. I mean, these are really good vibes. I want to know how many of you are bullish, how many are bearish, where are you tuning in from? What motivates you to keep going in, these tough times? Because for altcoin holders, it's been pretty tough. I mean, honestly, the impatient money has just been transferring to the patient hands. And, the whales, they don't care. They are just getting ready, anticipating what's to come, while a lot of other people are folding or selling early because of the fear. And I just truly believe we're on the precipice of a massive Q4. Eric Trump also says that, Q4 is going to melt faces, that traditional finance is folding, that crypto is the future. We all know this to be true. It's just a matter of time. So have that long-term plan and also get ready for this next. This is kind of like a sweet spot in the market, because we need to be planning for long-term, next 5 to 10 years, but also the next 2 to 3 months, right? So let's get on this train, guys. It's about to leave the station. Historically, the market welcomes these shutdowns. As you'll see now, as I'm going to give you stats to end this episode on what has happened previously after government shutdowns, and also the illiquid Bitcoin supply on exchanges is getting bigger and bigger. The whales will not leave you any Bitcoin. They are gobbling it all up. The supply shock is imminent. So I believe we're like really just right at the end of the opportunity to accumulate, the last opportunity before we take off on the last parabolic phase, where it's a risk on atmosphere, and it's going to be great. So on this note, I'm going to read you some of these stats, and some of the altcoins that I'm accumulating on this dip are Cardano, hbar, theta, XRP, XLM. I am getting some Aster, which is the competitor to Hype, founded by Yeezy Labs from Binance. I think that will do pretty well, as well as all of the others in my portfolio that I've been talking to you guys as well. Theta, of course, a little bit of T Fuel, got to get some more T Fuel. Ethereum, that's still going to do phenomenal. Guys, I'm just loading up on the majors, a little bit of long tail, smaller cap alts, which I'll go over in another episode before, the opportunity's not there anymore, and the risk reward, the risk is to the upside. That's the message I will leave you with. So I am accumulating all of the coins that are on my list at this point, to accumulate on dips. And if we get that other bigger dip, then you know what I'm doing. So thanks for being on with me today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.